This episode is brought to you by Muntins Malts, a company that is passionate about providing premium malts to brewers worldwide. For over a century, Muntins has been a leading supplier of brewing and distilling malts, offering the finest British malted barley on the market. You can experience the difference Muntins offers by joining a recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club, because every kit that ships out now includes premium Muntins malt. You know, we've known the Muntins crew for a long time, and I can tell you, friend, you're going to love brewing with their grains. Ask your local supply shop to carry Muntins malts, or homebrewers can join our Trub Club at homebrewhappyhour.com/club, be a part of the community, and come brew with us. Thank you, Muntins, for supporting our efforts and homebrewers worldwide. Today's show is brought to you by Hopsterette.com. Grown in the esteemed Yakima Valley on the Pewterball family farm, Hopsterette.com offers the widest variety of hops available online at incredibly competitive pricing. It's simple. They grow hops, they sell hops, and they ship hops straight from their family-owned farm to your doorstep. Producing the highest quality hops is Hopsterette.com's passion, and they're proud to be an independent grower in the craft beer industry. Go to Hopsterette.com right now and get what you need to make your brew day better. That's Hopsterette.com. Today's show is brought to you by Imperial Yeast. You hear us gushing over Imperial Yeast all the time, and that's because their yeast performs for us in every batch that we brew. Imperial Yeast is adored by commercial breweries and home brewers alike. Their pitch-right pouches are jam-packed with over 200 billion fresh yeast cells, guaranteed to deliver flawless, fast fermentations every time. Imperial Yeast strains are grown by a team of pro brewers and home brewers who live to help other brewers learn more and ferment better. Join any recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club and get a free upgrade to premium Imperial Yeast with every recipe kit that ships out to you. Learn more at homebrewhappyhour.com/club and come brew with us.
Entertaining shows with content that spreads information and sparks discourse throughout the community. This is the Pearl Media Network.
Brewing non-alcoholic beer and catching up with Tron from homebrewerlab.com. This is Homebrew Happy Hour, episode 439. Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the answers to your homebrewing questions and discuss all things related to craft beer. And if you, my friend, have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com. You could email Joshua at homebrewhappyhour.com. Even better, call it in to 325-305-6107. And when I use your voicemail, preferably a question, could be feedback, preferably a question, on a future episode, you're going to get yourself a gift card to kegconnection.com. I'm your host, Joshua Stubing, and like you heard me flub at the intro, I'm joined by arguably guest of the century. He is a fan favorite. You are, Tron, I'm not buttering you up because you're here. I apologize that it's taken 7 months into this year to get you back on the show, but Tron Wynn, the man behind my absolute favorite inventions for homebrewers ever. We'll talk about them, like the Float It and the Spun It and the Pata Brew, and just all around. Yeah, like every time we talk, through text message or a phone call, we usually do phone calls with each other. I leave with so much more information than I even anticipated I could get from on any topic. I could call Trong up, friends, and be like, "Hey, I want to try this pressure thing," and he will tell me in 30 minutes about everything I could possibly want to know and the science behind it, because he's done it 1,000 times and everything. But my friend Tron, thank you so much for doing the show again.
Oh, good to see you again. Good to be on here again.
It's so good. And when I say guest of the century, I mean it. Everybody who gives feedback on you might be the only person to ever be on Homebrew Happy Hour that has not had any negative feedback about them at all. I get all the negative feedback. Sometimes, sometimes Todd does. James rarely. Guest, we almost never have negative feedback on a guest, and certainly not when you're on the show. So I'm so excited. Before we get into it, if you don't mind, bear with me. I'll try to do this in under 2 minutes. I have a little bit of housekeeping to get through, and then we'll catch up with you and all that. So, friends, if you are watching at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour, you're going to see my pretty artwork. Go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour. Join a recipe receiving tier. Get the Japanese rice lager shipped to your door at the end of this month. We're calling it Karakuchi because I believe that means dry. It's an Asahi super dry clone that we're shipping out to y'all. I'm a man of the people, and I put it to a vote, and that was the winning option between that and a German Pils. We may end up doing the German Pils at another date, but you are going to get the Japanese rice lager this month. Thanks to our sponsors, hopsdirect.com, Munton's Malt, and of course, Imperial Yeast for providing the premium ingredients that go into this kit. And a new sponsor to the show, Monster Brewing Hardware. They got us a mill. They hooked us up. They hook up every home brewer that they send a mill to. And what I mean by that is the product is phenomenal. Y'all have vouched for them. James is the reason I really reached out to them. I was talking about wanting to mill at home, but not break the bank. We use a really nice Blickman grain mill up at the office, but it's commercial, and there's no way I can in good conscience recommend to the average home brewer who's trying to brew to save money, hey, go buy this $1,200 whatever setup. They want to, Tron, I'm preaching to the choir with you. People who are home brewing are not trying to break the bank. They try to do what they can and save as much money as they can. So
it's one of frugal people.
A lot of frugal. You're nice. My wife calls me cheap. You're right. I am frugal. But anyways, friends, again, patreon.com/homebrew happy hour. Join a recipe receiving tier. And with that being said as well, Brew Day Live will be July 25th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Central right here at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour. And I always say right here, Tron, 99% of people who listen to the show are just listeners. They don't actually go to our YouTube at all. They listen to us on audio, which with you on the show, that almost changes because your episodes, people know, and I'll say this episode is not any different, very visual friendly. Like you have, if people are audio only listeners, I implore you to at least go check out Tron's camera setup with everything he has in his kitchen, which is the homebrewer lab for you. Like everything you do and test is in that kitchen in California. You're doing everything right there. That's where your inventions come from and all that. I love it.
We're building right in here. We're testing here. We're packaging in here before we're shipping around the world. So this is a truly mom and pop, kitchen operation.
Yeah. And I will link to it again. Like I think I've done every episode. eBay did a actual cinematic feature on you, 6 years ago? 5 years ago?
No, 2021.
It was 21. Okay, I thought it was before COVID. It was after COVID. It was during COVID. But it was such a good little featurette they did on what you're doing there. And I say cinematic because they obviously used very nice equipment to film it.
Oh. They send somebody from New York here, and they spend the whole day tear up the house for 2 minutes show.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
The nice thing about it, though, they gave me $10,000 for it.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Tron, I've been doing all this stuff for free. I have not. You know what? I'll send you a Kekinetchen gift card for you.
Yeah.
I'll send you Todd's money. Hey, before we, I am, I'm not trying to be clickbaity with the titles. We will get into brewing non-alcoholic. You and I talking about it today is more conceptual when we get to that conversation. But our goal really is to do this kind of a two-part, where the first part we're going to end up talking about what the processes are and all that. But part two, it was your idea. You're like, we need to actually show it in the future. We would get our ducks in a row and our schedules aligned and actually do a brew day where you are showing it how you do it, because the way you're doing it, I would say, based off of what you told me, the information, it is probably the most home brewer friendly without breaking the bank and getting very high end gear, or just kind of haphazardly. What's the word I'm looking for? Like the homebrewers can do it, but it's not really the best way to do it.
Most home brewer, there's a lot of video on YouTube about do non-alcoholic beer at home, but they're all dealers how to make beer that less alcohol. You low mash, cold temperatures, and use thing that you don't produce beer without alcohol, because that's all you can do. Because the real way in factory, what they do is to make beer, real beer with all the characters, and then they remove the alcohol. And then they have to sterilize, they have to pasteurize the beer so that the yeast doesn't make beer continue making alcohol while in the can or after packaging. And because without alcohol, bacteria can do some bad things on it and hurt you. So those kind of things are really difficult to do, especially if you do it in a way that preserves the flavor and the goodness of the beer, and you have to do basically at low temperature. So how you do that? Most home brewer cannot do it. In fact, I challenge you that this is the first time that people ever see and heard about how to brew non-alcoholic beer using vacuum distillation and low temperature pasteurization at home.
Exactly. That's why
really great beer.
I am so excited for that. I do, though, before we get into that, only because about a month and a half ago, I looked in at our metrics, and I'm very transparent for the show. People know we, for the last several years, have on the audio side specifically, we did anywhere from like 11,500 to 15,000 downloads an episode. We are coming for you, Joe Rogan, but we're not a terribly big show. We have actually, over the summer, for whatever reason, have grown a lot. I don't know if Todd paid the Chinese clickbots to enhance our. I don't know. We're not trying to sell advertising, so I don't know what is actually going on. But I've actually gotten real people feedback who are saying, "I just found your show. It's entertaining. Maybe don't do so much small talk, Joshua. You're not that funny." Blah 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 blah. But they so we have a lot of new people who may not even be familiar with you. So I just want to brush over why you're one of my favorite people in the world, and that's because you make my favorite products in the world, like the Float It and the Spun It. Those two things, I don't know, you're not on social media a ton. I use them every week. And the Float It's I'm using on my kegs, I'm using on my fermenters. The Spun It I'm using on my kegs, I'm using on my fermenters. Let's talk about that real quick. You are the inventor. Homebrewerlab.com is where people can see all your products. Amazon for sure has your Floated on there, and I believe it also has your Picnic Tap on there.
Right.
And then eBay has everything, or Spun It?
Right, eBay has everything, but I think I haven't listed my new spunding valve jellyfish because it just take a lot of work to build one of those things, and they're kind of expensive. I sell them for $71. Most of the things you get the blow tie for $20, $30, but I sell most of them in Europe. The European people love my jellyfish, and they pay like $135 over there because with the VAT, with and the shipping. But it's simply the best spunding valve money can buy.
It literally is the best. I have a Keg King metal one. I have a couple of blow ties from Kegland, and I have another kind of MacGyvered spunding valve. Don't even come close. And it's hard for me. Like, can you quantify why it's the best? Because when people ask me, I say the accuracy and the ease of use. That's the two things I have. It's accurate.
Well, it's the best because we use an American-made PRV, which is designed in Wisconsin, and they sell millions of those things, but mostly for medical application and dental application and building engineering. So they are very, very precise, and they're really expensive. If you want to buy one, you look for it made by Airtron. If you go to Amazon and look for Airtron's PRV pressure relief valve or pressure regulator, they're small, but they're very precise, and they cost about $30 to $40 for one.
Yeah, just that part. Yeah.
Yeah, so So when I started to make the bunch of brown, I wanted to use that because I happened to have one of those things when I bought, on eBay. So I used that, and it worked really great. The only problem for me was that the way they made it for the industry, they made it all sealed up. You cannot take it apart. You buy it and you use it. In fact, it's so well used that during COVID, that some month they could not even sell it to me because the government bought every single unit for COVID,
For COVID.
respirators to make recovery. So then I convinced them to sell it to me, but in a way that I can redesign it so that I can take it apart and put it back together, because we home brewer, when we brew beer, shit happen, right? So we have to take it apart and clean it, and their system design is not for that. So it took me a long time to convince them to send me the information so that I can redesign it so that I can take it apart and seal it very easily. So that I begin to make it that way, and then also make it clear so that you can see when you pre-adjust the thing. Not like the blow time. Many people have it, but the blow time is, to me, is the crazy toy. You open it, it's like they did a toy RS spunding valve. You unscrew it correctly, the whole freaking thing
That's
flying
right.
out because it doesn't stop.
That's right.
And
That's right.
it's not very reliable. And so my thing is actually, because of the air flow control, is really precise, and I can put out a lead adjustment tube. So, and we color markers on it, band color code on it, so people can preset it. And then I also give it the very, very important. I don't know how people can use the spunding valve without the thermometer, because you have to look to see how the bubbling activity, you have to kind of see what happened, because the gauge, when you look at the gauge, you set the pressure, you look at the gauge, and you don't know whether you are temperature on the way up or temperature go down, because
Correct.
you don't see. You have put your ear to that thing to hear the thing flow. So I put the thermometer, basically it's an airlock with a bubble, so you can look through that, and that's very useful. I can't live without it, right? So, and then, of course, I make it. So the latest version, this is version 3.0, I make everything clear, because sometimes you don't see whether thing is truth gets in it or not. So I make the whole thing clear. And when it's clear, it looks like a jellyfish. So I call the thing, spun the 3.0 jellyfish. And so it's really cool. And I also make it silly easy to take it apart and put together. And then everything is sealed by silicone, so it lasts forever. It's cost a lot of money, but you can give that freaking thing for your grandchildren because everything goes wrong. You just buy the little part from me, and then you rebuild it. It's like a bicycle. You can put everything. But because of that, it takes a lot of work.
Yes.
A million little parts to use a glue and seal, and not seal, but to screw together. And everything is hand tight. All you need is just one screwdriver, and everything come apart and put back together very quickly.
I know.
So
It's the
people have
best.
it, they love it. I have one customer who bought 6 of them things.
I believe it.
You don't need.
I believe, and I don't have. I have I have 2 spundits. Pardon me. I have the 2.0 and the 3.0 jellyfish. I do have 8 or 9 floatits.
I have people buy. I said, you don't really need the floater that many. You know why? Because you only need it during fermentation.
Yeah.
Everything else, the one that's in clear, you don't need we don't need the floater. I told people, and my spun design with an auxiliary port, so you actually can use one spunding valve for 2, 3, 4, 5 K. If you daisy chain, you can use that.
For the spundit. Yeah. Oh, you showed me that spunding, daisy chaining off of one spundit. Yeah, but I will argue, I don't want to talk you out of any sales on your site. Every home brewer needs a floatit on every keg they have, and their fermenter. I'm telling you, I think one of your taglines is like no drop left behind or no beer left behind.
No beer left behind.
It's true. It's true. It's a true. Not only that, I've noticed, and you can tell me if this is all just pure garbage and I'm making stuff up. Todd and I had one of his Kolsch that was on tap, and it was maybe a week old, and serving it, and it was still kind of cloudy. It was a great beer. We put a float at 2.0 on there, and it cleared it up. Like not it didn't make it crystal clear, like it wasn't like biofine kind of clear, but it was noticeably different. And that's kind of the anecdotal evidence that I hear from a lot of people where they're like, "Oh my gosh, not only am I getting clearer beer sooner, but I'm also getting every last drop of my keg because of the tubing that you send with them is just perfect. The filter that's on it. I'm sounding like a salesman.
Filter.
Yeah.
It have two filter, two-stage filter, a 500 micron on the outside and 300 micron on the inside. So therefore, its efficiency is very high, and then it designed so that it can land on the surface of the tube the same time with the float. Versus all the floating dip tube, the intake is dangling below
it's like
the float.
this.
So there is a layer of beer that you cannot go below.
Correct.
So you see, that's that kind of thing. I think that was just stupid. I don't know why people don't recognize that. That's the cost difference is $10 in my versus thing. But my thing come with the max headroom gas dip tube, so that give you the maximum headroom. That thing will, if you can, nobody has this. If you buy this, cost you probably $5-7, and my thing is really easy to put in the cake because you don't put your arm in it. I say no arm in cake. You connect everything on the outside, and easy to use, and it land at the same time. It's perfectly balanced. It doesn't suck out gas, in the middle of the thing. And because the double filter, it never clogs the poppet valves. And what I'm going to do, I haven't done it yet, but I do it in the jelly, in the pot brew, because I put in the float, the compact progressive flow reducer right in the floating dip tube. So you don't need beer line on the outside.
Yeah, I know. Here's what's funny about me and Tron too. Tron knows I work for CM Becker, and we will have solutions, and I'll be like, Tron, we need to put the event faucet with your stuff. And you're like, I don't need it because I've done it all in line now. And I'm like, come on, Tron. But I still have to, but I love it though, because it's like every time we talk, and which is maybe, this year it'd been a while, I've been busy, but normally we talk every other month or whatever. And it's like you will find a problem in your process of whatever, too much foam in my pour or too much trube coming up in my line. And then the next time we talk, you're like, oh, Joshua, I have come up with this concept for a new thing, or I've enhanced this thing I've already invented. Like, I love it. Like we've talked about this a bunch on other episodes, but people who don't know you, I implore you to go. I'll put the links I think this is Tron's third appearance. It might be your fourth technically on the show, but I'll put links to those because you'll learn something about every topic we've talked about, pressure brewing and the products that he sells, the pot of brew and all that stuff. But anyway, I love it. Like I said, the Float It, I'm frequently telling people it's the greatest homebrew invention of all time. Every year it is when we do like our year end recap and people ask, what's your favorite gear of 2024, 2023, whatever. Ever since I've used a Float It, I'm like, that's number one. And it probably always will be, just because it is so much better than standard floating dip tubes have ever been. Like they've worked, and homebrewers we've gotten used to them. But then when you actually use the real deal, the Float It, that double filter that you have on there, it's night and day. And like you said, I'm shocked. It's only about $8, or maybe it is about $10 more than the standard floating dip tubes. That's the best $10 a person could spend. The difference. I mean, because like you said, you're building stuff that lasts forever. The Float It 2.0 will last me forever as long as I keep taking care of them.
I guarantee it lasts forever because number one, it built with just stainless steel, 304 stainless steel, and medical grade silicone, and I give you spare parts.
Yes,
everything I sell, because I ship around the world, so I have to include spare parts because I don't want to have the guy from Iceland call me up that he missed something, because sometimes they miss something, and it's something that's printable with 3D printer. I send him the file. You print this out and use it. Why? I send you the spare parts.
I know. It's a true home brewer in every sense of the word. And if people don't know, when Tron named his company Homebrewer Lab, it wasn't about the home brewer in the sense of beer. It was about the tinkerer the innovator, the person who likes to bake their own bread, or they like to modify their gaming console, or they like the person who's a home brewer. That's what I always love, because
so it's not about home brewing alone. It's about the home brewer. And the home brewer, we are a bunch of crazy guys, right? We're cheap, we're frugal, we want to tinkering with things, and we buy things from garage sale, we put them together, make things work. And that's home brewer. That's at least in my definition. So I want to make my product for the home brewers. They also brew beer, but they also, mix kimchi, and they also make, pickle vegetable.
Exactly.
And
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A man of the people. And so the last product I kind of want to go over, because I think it will segue us into the main topic of the show. You approached me last year about this device you're making, and I think it's going to be a hit. And I know you've already been in talks with like restaurant suppliers and all that. The Champagneur that you are coming up with. What is the Champagneur, and how is that even relevant to brewing non-alcoholic and all that stuff we're going to talk about?
Well, because working at beer, we have to deal with pressure. We deal with CO2 gas. We have with pouring. We deal with foaming. We deal with all those things. All those things that we managed to master pretty much right now with our floated 2.0, with our spunding valve, our picnic tap, because it doesn't drip, and foam, is all that thing, right? And we figure out how a way to use all that thing to make filling bottle, filling cake easy and cheap, because the cheap and cheap bottle filler, that's all. It worked really well. It's simple, easy to put it. I never fill bottle before I create that thing, because it's just too hard. But the way I do it so easy, many of my customers think the same way. So then I said, why don't we do that with champagne? But the trouble with champagne is that the champagne bottle have kind of funny shape on top, so we cannot use like a bottle cap, the PET bottle, soda bottle cap, the combination cap, so that you can do. So I made one. I made something that can go to a champagne bottle. And champagne bottle, they are different. They're American champagne bottle, there's Spanish champagne bottle, Italian and German, and then French. So you have to make that thing, they're kind of similar, but they're not exactly the same. So I had to make it so that it worked for 90% of all the champagne bottle in the world. And it worked reliably, because I need to pressurize the thing. And so let me show you what the thing looked like. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Y'all are, like I said, this is a definite episode y'all should be watching at YouTube, because.
So this is the champagne bottle that I brew. I brew non-alcoholic sparkling wine in here. And the reason why I brew the non-alcoholic sparkling wine, because when I wanted to go out to demo this product, how my Champagneur works, I cannot pour alcohol in stuff, because ABV become harm me away, turn me to ice or something, so then I have to buy non-alcoholic sparkling wine so that I can demo it. So now, of course, people see how this thing works, and they have to taste that, and it works. And it worked really well. People said, they saw that thing, oh, I want to buy that thing. I didn't know that non-sparkling wine tastes this good. So, and those things cost like $10. The cheapest one I could get from Total Wine is $10 a bottle. So, man, I cannot use that thing. I have to make my own. So then I said, I have to figure out a way how to make non-alcoholic sparkling wine so that I can demo my Champagneur. So of course, being a true home brewer, so I use my pot of brew. So I bought 5 liters of Chardonnay wine in a wine box made by Franzia, right? And from Total Wine, I said, well, this is wine over here, and it's cheap enough. You can get 5 liters for about $13, right? I can now, if I can just remove the alcohol from here, and then I can recarbonate it, then I can serve it in the public to demo my Champagneur. But how to do that, without destroying the flavor? So there is a process called vacuum distillation. that you can suck out and boil off the vacuum. But normally the people brewer, the home brewer, they do non-alcoholic beer, they can boil off. I mean, they're boiled off at regular temperatures, 100 degrees C or 200 degrees F, so that everything good can come out. But if you do that under vacuum, like you can go a low at 95 degrees F, and if you have like 85% vacuum, then you can suck out, or the alcohol would come out. And then after that, of course, if you use it right away, you don't have to worry about pasteurizing that, because you make it and you you carbonate it, force carbonate it, you pour in a bottle and you go out and you just serve it right away for next day or two or next week or so. You don't have the problem. But with beer, you have to actually do low pressure pasteurization. You can do it. You can kill all the yeast at 140 degree F for 30 minutes. So all that, this is a technical thing. We can go into that later. But the thing, so I able to make that, and then since I'm a beer guy, I say, well, this is just Chardonnay, and I can do that. But what happened if I add a little, like hops in there? We beer, we deal with hop, and there are hundreds of kind of hop. So I got some hop. I got really fruity hops like Galaxy hop, and then make it at the beginning. I make the little hop tea, and then I mix it in there, partially to stretch out my champagne filter, because 5 liter, that those Chardonnay is like at 13 ABV, 15 ABV, 11% ABV. I don't need that. I can stretch it out a little bit. I thin it out with hop tea, Galaxy hop tea. I put it together and then I suck it out. I stretch my thing. And lo and behold, that's something. I went out and demo this, and people just love it. Where did you get that thing? Can I buy some of those in that bottle? I said, so
Not legally.
Actually, yeah, because it's cold, it's carbonated, it's wine, but kind of infused with just the right touch of really fruity hop. People should go.
Oh, it's refreshing. I bet you in the summer, especially, it's very refreshing. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how. So I did that okay with wine. I said, well, if I can do wine, why don't I do with beer? Because just give me a beer and I can just suck the alcohol down out, and then I sterilize that with pasteurization at 140 degrees, and good. So there's some things that the people on here, if you want to know about how to make non-alcoholic beer, you can go to ChatGPT and type in the question, and it'll tell you exactly how other people, different way of doing that, different people doing that. So that's not a big deal. The thing is how you actually execute it, make it happen at home.
Right.
And that's the difference between, the chat GPT user versus the true home brewer. Home brewer would do it, right?
Well, and real quick too, I just want people to know, I mean, you kind of covered it, but the Champagneur, the whole idea is people wanting to drink their sparkling beverage, Prosecco, champagne, and not have to finish the bottle at the risk of it going flat.
Okay, now let me show you. Let me give you a demo of this thing. This is my wine, right? So let me see what the temperatures, what is the pressure inside here. Let me be right back. I'll be right back with
no problem. I'll juggle while you go away. I'll entertain the people at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour. And I'm also reminding people, this is probably, I tried to get it set up earlier, but I failed because I was lazy. The very last episode, we're using Zoom. If you're hearing crackling audio, I'm trying to take it all out. But anyways, back to you, Tron.
Okay, now here my digital pressure gauge. I want to see what the pressure on here. So the pressure right now inside this bottle is 15.6 psi, right? This 15.6 psi built in here. So chill. So yeah, I don't know if you can hear the hiss or not.
Yeah.
I take it and I pour myself a glass of non-alcoholic sparkling wine, right? So cold pressure. Then I put the champagner back on. Right now, the nice thing about champagner design, it took me for a while. I actually find a pattern on this thing because it's locked. Not only it's locked, but it's designed so that you can make all the beautiful thing outside of it. You know, you can put your Dallas Cowboy on the thing, or you put the Oakland Raiders, and you do all kind of crazy thing on the outside. And then you take this injector, which I also, you know, I have make a stand out of the thing, you know, like
I love that. 3D
injector.
printed? It looks like it's 3D printed, that
Yeah,
stand.
20. If you need one of these things, this is like the base that can snap onto 16-gram CO2 cartridge. So it uses a stand, you know. So then now I press on this. Just second, take it. Now I measure it and see what. Look at it again. So now at 13.4 psi, because I set this thing at 7. So right now this thing is this bottle of champagne that's non-sparkling wine is repressurized at 17 psi, and I put it in the refrigerator. And then tomorrow, next week, if I want a small glass of it, I can take it out. I like this. Did that?
Incredible.
And then
Yeah.
and I recharge it. I pour myself a glass. I put the champagne on. The champagne, that's called a champagne bubbly keeper. You know. So then you dress it on this again, and then you can check the pressure. Use a machine with it. So now it's 17.7 psi, right? And now I put it in. I can put it sideways, upside down, like this. Put it away. I can go back and drink it all the time. So that keep people, you know, restaurant can serve champagne by the glass for $15, $20, $30 and make damn sure that this is fizzy, still fizzy, and that perfectly. And if they don't know, because we put the lock post on this thing, so then you can check, you know, you can put a check on it, and you. So this is champagne bubbly keeper. I made a demo at Total Wine. And man, I have Total Wine sell like a case and a half of champagne. And there people want to buy the thing. We say, I can't sell it in here, you know.
I love it. And I do want to say though, I'm not going to ever let my wife know that it exists, because right now she loves Prosecco. She loves it. On a Friday night, Tron, I can get her to drink the whole bottle because we don't waste in this house. And when she drinks the whole bottle, I'm a lot more attractive to her. So I don't know if I want her recarbonate. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding about not wanting her to know about it. I can still have her drink the bottle. But
you know, most people, you know, the reason why we're talking about a home brewer guys, and they drink beer. They're the beer drinker. Women drink sparkling wine, and they drink a lot, and they spend money. So
I agree. No, that I'm shocked that you. Well, so I don't even remember that product. The Champagneur is officially.
Let me put it away.
Yeah, absolutely. But your Champagneur is officially launched, right? Like you have.
Yeah, I'm actually just wait for this box of here. It took a while. I designed a little, but the boxes come with. I don't know if you can see this. You come with it's a smaller box with 3 CO2 cartridges on here, and the way the whole thing sits in with a set like this with the cartridge and the two champagne stopper and the base and the injectors. I sell this. I'm going to retail this for $99 for 3. You can buy something like for Corman that doesn't work very well, and spend about $300 on it, and it look like it really. And the cartridge, you can use regular food grade 12 grams CO2 cartridge for like $1 a piece. You know, with other people, you have to use the proprietary CO2 cartridge for $5 a piece.
Yep.
So
and people who are audio listeners, it's going to have the actual Champagneur in there. It's going to have the mini regulator and 3 cartridges, you said, or 2 cartridges?
Right, 3 cartridges and 2 Champagneur cap. So that will sell it for $99. You know, I probably could sell it for more, but I want more people to use it. And no, I retire. I do this kind of for fun. So
I'm just shocked that you haven't had a Total Wine or someone else try to sign you like on exclusivity, because you would think that that would be like that is the perfect impulse buy for, like you said, a lot of money being spent on sparkling wine, a ton of money just in my
Yeah.
house. You would think that they right next to the sparkling wine, hey, don't have to drink it all tonight. Like, you get a champagne, this kit, and then boom, you're going to be, because realistically, with the little amount you're injecting, how long do you think a cartridge would last? Like, I know that
About it depends on how many times you open and close, but we calculated about 3 bottles.
that's incredible.
Three,
And that,
yeah,
yeah,
three,
that's incredible.
so
And
that's for $1, for
yeah,
3 bottles. And because I'm cheap, so whenever I make something, I make it do many, many jobs, right? So I make it, watch this. I made this to work on regular pet bottle.
oh, right on. So yeah,
Yeah. So on the pet bottle, so it's work. So if you have like tonic water or something, you don't drink tonic water. You use for mixed drink. So you use a little bit for mixing, and then until you again. So with this, you put it on
absolutely.
the pet
How
bottle.
on earth can you get the threading? That's incredible. That's why you
Oh,
that's why you did a
that-
patent. 'Cause-
Yeah, it's really see. I don't use the thread for this thing. I have to use the annulus. There's something called its pet bottle has an annulus, a little bigger ring underneath the thread, and I had to use that. I had to design it for work for the pet bottle and for the champagne, different version of champagne bottle, and it worked. It
That's
worked really
incredible.
great.
And so segueing from that, so to set the stage, 40 some odd minutes into here, we have you were getting into non-alcoholic strictly for the demoing of the new product, because again, one, you didn't want to be plastered every time you're demoing it, but more realistically, the legality behind giving away alcohol is tricky, and you're not, but again, it's just more responsible if you're going to do the demo to have done it with non-alcoholic. That's what piqued your interest in making non-alcoholic champagne, but the process that you're doing is translatable for beer as well. Like, how have some homebrewers traditionally done non-alcoholic?
Well, how traditional homebrewers, as I mentioned before, they don't have the capacity and the wherewithal and the equipment, because you cannot pour a vacuum in a cake. If you put the best making Cornelius cake and you suck a vacuum, it's going to collapse. The reason why is it can hold pressure, but it cannot hold vacuum, because we are standing right here, right now, with 15 psi of pressure, the air pressure, the atmosphere pressure push on us. People just used to it. So then if you put a cake and you suck the vacuum, that 15 psi and squeeze that freaking thing and squeeze. And most of the time they don't design for vacuum. So what happened is my powder brew is made from a pressure cooker. So pressure cooker, this thing can hold 35 psi pressure and 95% vacuum. So because of that, I mean, and then because it have a TC port on here, so I can put have 3 plug posts on here. One of it is used for the thermometer, one for the gas, one for the liquids, and so it's fairly easy for me to adapt it to make. So in order to make non-alcoholic anything, you make it the way you like it, and then you just remove the alcohol at low temperature so that you can preserve everything at low temperature. I mean, 95 psi, that's 85% vacuum. And after that, you need to do low pressure pasteurization, which means you have to raise the temperature at 140 degree F for 30 minutes to kill everything inside. But here's the problem. I tried it a couple of times, and I couldn't raise the temperature. I mean, I turned everything up, turned on the heat, full blast, couldn't come up. It turned out my vacuum is too low. When the vacuum is so low, everything will boil up so quickly, so
Right.
before the temperature rise. So I said, man, but I need the temperature to go up 140 to do my pasteurization thing. And so, okay, what happened? I need to I reduce the vacuum. So how do I reduce a vacuum? You can go out and buy a vacuum gauge, cost you a couple $100. But say, what happened? That create a precise leak. So it put a little leak in there, and what I use is a small, really precise needle valve. I put on the needle valve on the inlet, and I just adjust the needle valve just very little for at the right point that the vacuum will begin to rise up, and they go too high. I tie it up a little, so I get it to about 70%. And then my temperature go up to 140 degrees. So that works. So I deal with the vacuum. I have the vacuum for my 95 degrees dealcoholizations and 140 degrees for pasteurization. But I need one more thing. To increase the efficiency, I need to stir it up really fast. On the surface, but increase the surface area so all the alcohol have a better chance to get out of solutions, right? And also to kind of mix it up, equalize, homologous temperature, give me my beer temperature even, because I heat the thing at the bottom. I want to have everything mixed up. And how do I do that until hold a vacuum? Because I cannot use the magnetic stirrer, because it only works at the bottom, and it doesn't go fast enough, and at the bottom. So I have to stir from the top, which means I have to put a motor with the paddle through the top, and I have to do it in a manner that seal everything up so it still doesn't leak any gas, so I can have the vacuum. So, because my powder brew have the 1.5-inch TC, I don't know if you see this, I take the TC cap off, right? And I get myself a 12-volt DC motor, and I put a little coupling, I put a paddle. That is a spreading paddle they use, very popular that they use in wine making, the stirred up, degas wine. And you put this thing through here, like so, right? And this motor have the speed control, and you tie it all thing up. And then how do I keep the syrup, to keep the vacuum?
That's what I was just about to ask.
I glue the whole motor is all covered with epoxy glue. Everything is like, you don't see it, but epoxy glue is, so it's sealed. Your air cannot go through that, and I put. So you see that is that actually, I try all different kind of thing, but it worked really well.
See, that's what let me not get ahead of ourselves, but we talk about, how this is an approachable way. If I ever did it, you're gonna have to sell me a kit, dude. Like that's incredible. Because I was thinking, how do you keep it sealed? Oh, epoxy.
But I can teach you how to make it. I can show you how to make it.
That's part 2. That's gonna be, or that's like part 3.
Yeah. Yeah,
that motor's incredible.
We homebrewer, we share things.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. And again, you're the king of, and that's what. If you're on Facebook, guys, Tron, you should go join. Just go join his Pot Brew group, because I think that's the most active, and people talk about everything there. But I'll put a link to that in the show notes. So if you're watching at YouTube, it'll be in the video description. If you're an audio only listener, it should be in, like, when you download the episode or whenever your app directory does it. But that Facebook group, would you agree that's the best place for real time?
Yeah, because people share things. We don't have a lot of thousands of people on it, but we have a few really, really devoted brewers. I have one guy, his name is Noel Smith. Sorry, no, I mentioned your name. He 3 weeks ago, he bought one pot brew. And next thing you know, a week later, he bought another one. I said, why do you need 2 of them? And then a week later, he bought the 3rd one. I say, why you use so many of the things? You already have those things. And And no, he has every freaking thing. I told him he could have a museum of spunding valve. He showed me the picture of it.
He's the Homebrewer Lab official museum. Yeah.
Yeah. So because he got so many things. But he said that this is so much fun to use. And it's clean up. You know how it is. Clean up is really easy. It's
Super
a pain
easy.
in the ass. The part of the home brewing is the cleaning up and sterilizing. What's good, so good about the powder brew, most people don't know, is that you don't have to worry about sterilization because you heat to kill everything, right? And you do everything from one pot from beginning to the end. You're mashing it, you're boiling it, you chilling it, you fermented it, and you carb in it, you dry hopping it, and you drink from it, and that's all you. And in the end, it takes you 2 minutes to clean.
I don't want to
Right?
digress us too much. I'll get us back on the non-alcoholic, but I will say what makes me chuckle every time I think about it. When you were telling me about the pot brew in the early days, you were telling me you're developing this new thing and it's exciting. I want to get one in your hands. I called my grandfather an all-in-one, and you corrected me quickly. You said that is not an all-in-one because how many different vessels are you having to use for your brew day? Pot brew is the only all-in-one. And so after using the pot brew a few times, I was like, yeah, he's absolutely right. Literally an all-in-one where I could do everything in the vessel from brew day to when I'm floated the beer and there's no more left. It is literally all done in one vessel. It is the true all-in-one. I am a believer. You have convinced me.
So you go back to the stirring this part, right? So we need to increase the surface areas mixing up so that we can get the alcohol out of the solution faster. But here's the problem. I have in my pot brew, we have the floating dip tube. And when we stir anything so fast, the thing will chop up the floating dip tube, right? And I don't want to reopen the thing and attach it to it and contaminate it. So I have to figure out a way to put the floating dip tube away during that phase. So this is how I managed to do it. I think this is really cool. I mean, it's even cool for me. So I want to show to other people how I do it. So this is the floating dip tube. Normally, it's can hang out loose like this, you see? So you can see if the thing spin up, this thing will spread out and chop it up. So all I have to do is take the floating dip tube and wrap it around, wrap it, wrap it around the thermometer, which is right next to it. So when the time comes that I want to release it, all I have to do is lift it up, and then it falls back down.
And it keeps everything sealed, and it keeps everything sanitary. Yeah, I know. That is I'm gonna clip that for our Instagram reel because not enough people do go to our YouTube video. What Tron did for audio only listeners, you can at least see it on Instagram in a little quick minute reel. He before he puts the lid on, he's doing this little single loop thing with the float it on the thermometer's probe. And then when it comes time to actually drink the beverage, you think, oh, the float is not going to work. He doesn't remove the thermometer. He just lifts it up
slide
it all the way up, and that naturally releases that loop so that then the float at 2.0 just works perfectly. Yeah, no, that's ingenious. I love that because like you said, your thought I was going to say because your thought process was, I could open it, but then I'd risk contamination. Oh, I know. I'll do it on this thing that I've already included on here, the thermometer that has the super long, accurate probe. And that way they can loop it there. And then when they pull it up, boom, it's working great. Yeah, no,
and you don't lose any pressure because that thing is sealed. It has double O-ring. You know, it's like the shaft of propeller in a boat. It doesn't leak like a submarine. So it doesn't. You can slide it up and down, and you don't lose pressure.
So after the spinning and all that for the surface, what are we talking about? Because I see, obviously you got the accelerator, which I haven't seen in forever.
Yeah. Okay. So let me see that. So all that. So I have the thing, and people should get on the thing because I think it's kind of cool to see all this. I attached this thing to the gas port, to the chillerator with all any counterflow chiller. We have 2 layers. This thing go through the chiller. You go to the accelerator, right, and it go down. to the little water chiller case, which is really strong. You see, everything had to be under pressure, under vacuum, right? So everything had to be sealed. And then on the outside of the counter filler, I have a little pump, the pump that would run cold water around it to condense. So this thing had to be high because you want the liquid to drop down, and the liquid drop in, and the pump, the vacuum pump attaches to here, right? So you can turn on the pump, you turn on the vacuum pump, and you turn on the heat, you turn on the stirrer, so the temperature rise, and you begin to see, after a while, you see the thing like you're distilling alcohol. But the thing the difference with the spirit people, they want to get out of alcohol out so that they don't avoid the shit out of the fermented product. We the opposite. We want to keep everything. We don't want to drink the stuff, because what we pour out, I haven't drink this thing, because when you pour out, you put some methanol and some ethanol, but I haven't done the way to separate the two things, so I don't want to drink methanol. But we want to keep the beer or the wine behind, so we want to keep everything low temperature, so to preserve it. Now, after finish, I also decided maybe the 140-degree F pasteurization may get some of the aroma hop out. So before I actually, I let it chill down to, remember, 140 degrees, right? When I'm done, after 30 minutes, I let the temperature drop down, begin to chill it. I let the temperature go down to about less than 100 or 90-degree F or 80-degree F. And I pressurize it a little bit, to positive pressure. And then I put in this depends on a 2 liter of this 0.5 ml of hop extract, hop oil extract. I put it in, I resupplied it, refortified that with hop extract. Of course, under pressure, so positive pressure, CO2 pressure, so I don't get any contamination. Then I go to the cold crash phase, right? And then after 2 days, I tap on my picnic tap and drink, or I transfer to a bottle. My bottle chip and chill bottle filler to transfer to a champagne bottle and cap it and go out and demo my champagne.
And what are you measuring gravity at this point to confirm? Like, I mean, just trying to cover my bases, because the legal department's in my ear.
Good question. How do I know?
Yeah.
How I know? Of course, you can see that I have an easy dance here, but turned out that I cannot use the easy dance to measure the ABV, because beer or champagne got sugar in it. So I say, well, how do I want to make sure that I don't have alcohol, right? Let's test this thing. I show you, I drink a little non-alcohol champagne later, before, right? So I put this, I have a breathalyzer.
No kidding.
I mix the thing, right? I drink, several glasses of that.
Yeah.
Of course, and I need, because the breathalyzer designed to measure the alcohol in your blood. So I wait like about 10 minutes, 15 minutes for the what I drink process through my system, and then you see green.
Tron, that is absolutely interesting. So is that an Amazon breathalyzer? What is that?
Like, I mean, you can buy anything. This is, you can buy it for $20,
That's
and then I said, okay, let's so I did it to my wife, and she said, well, how do you know this works? So here, let's drink a regular bottle of a glass of champagne. And you drink a bottle of glass champagne, and let's do it again in 10 minutes, and that thing turned red. So you see, so the breathalyzer works.
I am sorry. I'm on my other screen. I'm looking up breathalyzer, because I'm gonna have fun with this. So I'm gonna take it up to the ranch so Todd and I can have like a high store contest or something. They're not that expensive. Wow.
No.
That's incredible. Here's one for $25 with a lot of good reviews. Huh.
Yeah.
And then
so
This is
You should have
incredible.
one. You should have one in your car in case something happened. If you get ticket, and say, "Hey man, I test myself."
I agree. Here's some Tron they try to sell me for $90. It's not only accurate, but then it'll tell you how long until you're sober.
Yeah. No, you don't need that. You need
No,
about $20,
no, the
$19 to get one.
The
Yeah, I have
$25.
several of them.
It looks like the same thing I used to measure the pressure in my tires. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
They just repurposed it.
Yeah.
That is absolutely hilarious. I'm gonna get one for Todd and me.
That's the spirit of the home brewer.
Yeah,
You know,
it is.
We have to figure out get things done, and at least maybe not perfect, not pretty, but it got to work, right?
And in your opinion, when we demo, and here's where I'm not just saying this, guys, especially watching at YouTube, just for the sake of getting comments. But if you are watching at YouTube and you're interested in seeing this in action, leave a comment below. Y'all already know, no secret, the comments and liking the videos and all that really helps the algorithm. So if y'all do that, I'd appreciate it. But John and I want to know, just because we don't want to set up all the stuff and do the filming if people are, but I imagine, our audience, I was telling you, it's been growing. A lot of people reaching out to me, Tron, are 28 and younger, 30, I'll just round up, 30 and younger. You probably already know this. The amount of young people drinking alcohol is getting lower and lower. People,
Yes.
they're young people are not drinking alcohol like they did when I was a young person. They're choosing to drink not low ABV drinks. They're choosing hop water. They're choosing a lot of other beverages for their social drinking. And I do know that the desire for ingenuity, like you said, that homebrewer spirit, that's inherent to a lot of people. Anecdotally, a lot of my friends who happen to be men, so I'm not just to say it's not in women, but a lot of young men have that fire of, I like tinkering and inventing and just having, making,
make your own thing.
making,
Own.
it's satisfying, but not all of them want to get drunk or have the effects of alcohol, like high calories and intoxication.
But you know that there are others because of that. There's a lot of things out there that how people making beer convenient and easily. Like the pint and the igulu, but there are appliances. There are a box of plastic that you can put things in there. What happened? They only last a couple of years, and then they go to the landfill, and they're appliance. So I'm totally against what my mentality, my ethos. So I make the pot of brew that can do many things, last forever, right? And you can brew any kind of beer. I actually use this to brew pinter because I find it a lot easier to brew pinter kit in this.
Yeah, they're beer kits. Yeah,
because first of all, I can tap directly on top. I don't have to drag the thing to the edge of the counter, and I don't have all the crazy drip that those things have. The pinter drip like crazy, and they drip at the most unexpected time. So with this, and then we can recharge this thing, and we don't have to use chemical to sterilize, because you put this thing in, you put a little water, you throw in the stove, you create the steam, heat up the whole thing up, and let it cool down, and pour the thing in, and you're done. So this lasts forever. You can do a lot of things. You can do, certainly nobody could do de-alcoholizing and pasteurization like I do. Nobody could do that thing.
And
that will last forever. And you can have fun. You can do right in the kitchen. You use everything that you have in your kitchen. You use your stove to boil, or you use a little induction heater, and you use a temperature mash, and you use your refrigerator. You fit into the refrigerator. So, I mean,
it's a true tool. It's a true, and I'll tell people, because I don't always put, the last time I used it in content was making kombucha, because it was perfect for me making a starter. But I'll be honest with you, Tron, the way I use it weekly is for poaching eggs. I cook in it. I'm more than brewing. I poach my eggs in the pot of brew in my garage on an induction heater, basically almost every morning of the work week, especially when my wife and kids are at school, because no one's here. It's easy to cook on. Like I said, it does work with an induction heater, so it's extremely convenient. And cleaning it, because it's stainless steel, is just extremely easy.
And you open the whole lid, so you stick your arm, you clean it. That's why a cake. I hate cleaning a cake because it's too small. You have to clean. You have to turn it upside down and all that thing. The pot brew is so easy to brew. Man, I'm not trying to sell this thing. I don't need to.
Tron, I'm trying to. No, I don't need. I don't need a cut of it.
Another thing is, Paul. I think. Won in a war. He make a beer and enter a competition. He win a silver award, and so a medal for the beer made with pot brew. So we can say this is an award-winning.
It's an award-winning brewware. Yeah,
And I told, because of that, I say, well, anybody who win in a war with beer brew with pot brew, if you win a gold, you get $100 gift certificate, from me.
Dang.
Silver 75 and a bronze 50.
Dang. Was it all grain that he brewed it in, or was it extra?
Yeah, he used all grain. It's a porter. Yeah.
Dang. Yeah. Okay. Well, y'all hear it here first. Go to Homebrewer Lab, get you a pot of brew and brew an award-winning beer.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's just for fun. I just, if anybody who win anything with that, you get a gift certificate. For products on my website, 100 for gold, 75 for silver, and bronze 50. Yeah.
Tron, that's incredible. I love that. And like you said, and like I was saying earlier, though, I want people to, you can also text me 325-305-6107, just because I suspect it's going to be a lot of setup, and I'm okay with doing all that. But when we do the demo, do you think we should do it with beer because that's most applicable to the audience, or should we do it with wine because that's?
Well, it doesn't matter because by the time we use that for de-alcoholize, it could be anything.
Okay.
Yeah. So the beer already made, we can suck the beer out when this or the wine. The brewing part we've already done. We've done it several times. We brewed thing with imagine when we're done with the beer, then we de-alcoholize it. So we can start with already finished beer. I can brew a pot of beer ahead of time.
Perfect.
So I said, this is the beer that we finished, and we actually can pour a glass and drink that thing and test. I'll test breathalyzer, make sure that it turns red.
That should be, you know what? Deal. I will be on my end drinking with my new breathalyzer that's going to come in, and we will measure it, but then I won't be able to measure the other part. But that's incredible.
So that's a part. Now, I want to show you just the mentality, the way that I have something called a yeast farmer, right? A yeast farmer. Do you have one?
I do. Yes, you sent me one. Absolutely.
The easiest way to grow yeast, and this is a yeast farmer. It's basically a lid, a plastic lid, a mason jar plastic lid with my mother of all valves on it. I have a patent for a valve. I call it a mother of valve because that valve can do anything you want it to do, and it's very small. It's only a 3/8-inch hole on the lid. You put the valve on this, you can do to one in. It's the umbrella valve and the duckbill valve built together with a convertible by two-way or one-way. And then I put on a 0.22 micron filter on that, syringe filter, which you can buy real cheap on Amazon. You buy 50 packets of them for like $20. And then you put this thing on here and you put on a mason jar. The nice thing about that is you can sterilize this whole thing in the microwave quickly, easily, right? And it's also, afterwards, you can put yeast in here, and when you ferment, the micron filter allow air to come in, because when the yeast kind of growing, it's going to use the oxygen and to create a vacuum. So it sucks air in. So you don't have to worry about putting, cotton ball on the thing and wrap it around, because it's automatically sucking air in.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about when it's done, you stick it in the refrigerator and you don't worry, you don't have to burp it, because it's self-burping and it stays sterilized, because bacteria cannot go through 0.22 micron. Bug cannot go, only gas can go through. So that's the thing, right? So this is the lid, called a yeast farmer, on a mason jar for grow yeast. But you can also use that thing to brew the same freaking thing, right? You can use it to make preserved lemon. you can preserve, you can ferment, fermenting vegetable. You make kimchi, you make sauerkraut, you make preserved lemon, you make chili pepper, right? So
That is so
you can
cool.
do that. And because the reason you can do it better than other thing, because you can vacuum it, you can suck when you do it. You put all the vegetable in, you put what's something I call the submerged to pressure below the liquid, and then you put a hand vacuum pump. You suck the pump and you suck out all the gas, so the whole thing it never fail. It's because you inject all the gas in and you keep the liquid, the vegetable under the liquid, you always have perfect fermentation, right? And then you can also use that, the same thing. You add a kitchen sponge sterilizer every day. If you don't want your kitchen to smell, you're washing with the kitchen sponge and you stick it in this thing, you put the yeast farmer lid on a mason jar, and you stick it in a microwave for 1 minute. It's kill everything in it, so your thing doesn't smell, right? So that's the same product. Now, if you want to, in the last month, I want to try it out to see, my doctor said that your cholesterol level too high. You should take some drugs, some pills, some medicine. That I want to take medicine. But what else can I do? Well, he told me if you can eat at your age, if you can eat high fibers like steel cut oatmeal every morning, try to avoid drinking milk. So I said I come up with a way to do that. I developed a way to cook oatmeal, 40 grams of oatmeal, 100 grams of organic almond milk, and then I nuke it in the microwave oven for 1 minute at night before I go to bed, just to boil the thing up.
Right.
Let it sit in the microwave. In the morning, I come out. If I want it to hot, I reheat it again at 50 seconds, and then I can put in 1 tablespoon of olive oil. I mix it up, and I can put anything in it, and I can have steel cut oatmeal, almond milk, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and any other thing. I can put cinnamon in there. I can put turmeric in there. I put a chili pepper. I can put like ground pepper so that have the absorption of turmeric in my blood. I went and did a test, my blood test last week. My cholesterol level go down 10 points.
Whoa!
So my
no medicine for you.
Yeah, the LDL is coming up. My doctor was amazed. So how did you do it? Well, that's what I did. And not only that, 1 tablespoon. People say that 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil that you can take every day is the best thing you can do. The trouble is how you do that.
Yeah,
how you do that on a regular basis. I incorporated the thing. I got high fiber. I low glycemic index of steel cut oatmeal, and I use non-dairy organic almond milk, and I can mix it up. I can put all the things. I make it so easy to enjoy, and because of that, the whole mixture is about 300 calories. If you ask them, the blueberries and raisin and all the good thing on it, it go up to, depends on how, maybe go up 400 calories, but it's so easy to do and so enjoyable. And the main mixture is neutral, so that you can go savory or you can go sweet. You can put fruit in there, olive oil and steel cut oatmeal and almond milk works together.
That's so cool. Tron, you're giving me so many ideas for more content in the future, because people are going to say, like, can you all have Tron show us? We're going to have to do a whole other live stream of us using the yeast farmer and using it for making this stuff, because that's perfect. We're calling it the home.
But I want you to tell your audience, I want them to help me to prove this work.
Oh yeah.
So all you do is, the yeast farmer only costs $15. I sell for $15. If you buy one of yeast farmer and you get yourself a mason jar, you can do that. I can show you how to do that, and then you can do your own testing, because I want to prove this concept. It's known. What I tell you, you can go to ChatGPT and search for it. What happened? You type in what happened. I eat 40 grams of secret oatmeal, and they're gonna tell you what the benefits you get from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you tried it, and then you can do your own testing, and we can collect data. You can share the thing. This is good for the world.
I love it. We'll call it the Homebrew Health Hour. Only because up till now, my health advice has been drinking Kolsch and chewing nicotine gum. So we're going to change it. We're going to get healthy. Josh, there's a new year, new me. Or actually, it's only mid-year. Mid-year, mid-me.
It's a lot of fun. But
it is a lot of fun.
Cheap. All these things, you don't have to take medicine. And it's enjoyable. It's really, really good. Man,
I love it, Tron. No, I love it. I could talk to you forever, but I know we've been going for about almost an hour and 15.
Oh my God.
No, you're good. I love it. But let's put a nail on this episode where, or a staple, or I don't know the saying. We'll close this up by just saying we're going to do a part 2 in the future, especially based on feedback. And actually, we'll probably do it, but let us know if you want to see us do, taking beer and doing the processes of making it non-alcoholic, very, very low alcoholic, or wine. Yeah. Well, those are our 2 options. Let us know in the comments below. Text me at 325-305-6107. Or you can comment if you're watching on Spotify or listening on Spotify, rather. I know that they support comments anyway, or email me, joshua@homebrew.happyhour.com. There's ways to tell us, and we'll do a poll. Maybe I'll even do a Patreon poll, and I'll just let people know when it's coming up. You and I will coordinate our schedules, and I'll announce when we're doing it, because I think it'll be valuable for people to have that knowledge, even if they never use it. It's an interesting topic, and the way that if people are watching at YouTube, your setup there, Tron, is intimidating at first glance. But as you went through the process of explaining everything, it made sense to where, like, oh, okay. Like, once you demystify it, it becomes a lot more accessible to the average man. And so,
it's easy. It's really fun, because I'm lazy. I make everything easy. I'm a perfectionist. I want to make everything to work really well. But I want the audience or the listeners or the viewer to give some feedbacks or comments, because the stuff that we talk about, not typical home brewing thing. It's a lot of crazy stuff.
It's a lot of crazy. John, when we talk, I wish I would just record our phone calls. You don't regulate me and I don't regulate you. And that's why we talk for almost 2 hours every time. And usually I'll call you when I'm driving home from headquarters, and our conversation is almost that entire 3-hour drive. I love it. It's my fest. You're one of my favorite people on the planet, Tron, and I really, really appreciate your time again. And we'll have you on in the not too distant future so we can do a demonstration.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to hear your feedback, the feedback from your audience. Yeah.
Tron, thank you, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye for now.
And that will do it for this episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, of course you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com and use that submit a question link at the top of the page. But even better, call it in and leave a voicemail to 325-305-6107. Thank you to our show sponsors like Muntins Malt, premium grains for a better brew day. If you aren't already brewing with Muntins, give them a try by joining the Trub Club at a recipe receiving level. For the best hops available online, give our friends at hopsdirect.com a visit and pick up what you need for your next brew day. Also, get a pack of premium imperial yeast along with delicious recipes from us when you join the Trub Club. Again, I tell you, go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and come brew with us. On behalf of Todd Burns, James Carlson, and the Pearl Media Network, I'm Joshua Stubing. Thanks for listening.